Hello again. This is something slightly unusual. In front of us is a circuit board from a Radio Spares uninterruptible power supply. It's the control board, and it blew up the other day. So I thought, well, let's see if we can recover any components from it. I can see for a start 3 relays, and I thought I'd show you how I recover components, because sometimes it's a good idea, and it certainly saves money. To recover components, you need the following, essentially. You need a soldering iron. I've took my soldering iron up to a much higher than normal temperature. It's on 350 degrees. It may even need to go higher. You also need solder, because to remove solder you need to put solder on sometimes, especially if they've used the new type of solder, which hasn't got any lead in it. You need a solder sucker. £1, a couple of quid. Suck solder off. Very handy device. And you need desolder braid. I just remembered, actually, I've got an electric solder sucker in my other case, which might come in useful later on. If you get something that's really stuck, it's actually got a heat element around there, so you can put it on and suck the solder and remove the solder at the same time. It doesn't work very well, neither does my mouth. A pair of cutters, of course. So let's first of all try and get these relays off, because they look to me like quite reasonable quality relays. When you look underneath, of course, you've got to find out which contacts you want to take off, but we have, I think, got them here. So first of all, to remove the component, believe it or not, you solder it in again. I find this the easiest way to make something come off. Now, I'm going to need my glasses. Ah, dear. Getting old. I really am getting old. Put the old bins on, that's better, I think. But clean it would be even better. Even more helpful. So here is the first relay. We will put lots of solder on, and then we take it off again. What a waste of solder, I know. Get that. Put the solder sucker on and pull, and it pulls off quite a lot of the solder. It cools down almost instantly, so you can take it up with your fingers. Especially if you've got hard fingers like what I have. Hope you can see what I'm doing. Yes, you can. Another one off, and more solder out. Another relay contact removed. I hope this isn't too boring. Probably is. In fact, you can probably have already fast forwarded and aren't even listening to this. And let's see, there should be 6 connections on any reasonable relay. I can see this isn't working. So I think we're going to have to get the old desolder braid out. Now, this is quite good with desolder braid. It's expensive stuff, but it does tend to work quite well. Let's see if we can. Actually, you apply that between the braid and the iron. Apply some heat. Hopefully, the solder is sucked up the braid. It's difficult to keep talking when you're doing this. Normally, sort of thing you do quietly in the evening when you've got nothing else to do. Anyway, it may be time to do an edit, but we'll see. If suddenly this video stops and there's a jump and all 3 relays are out, you'll know there's been an edit and an hour of your time has been saved. We're getting absolutely nowhere here, so what I'm going to do is do what I should have done, which is work from the outside. Now that's interesting. We've got I probably found the reason why this blew up. This resistor is dry jointed. So I'm just putting another way of doing it. You put a screwdriver underneath. Just do that. And a little more heat. And then the resistor will, no, it won't, drop out. There we go, there's one. So what we're going to do is work our way into the board. Now next we've got a nice capacitor here. This is a mains voltage capacitor. I can tell you that without even looking at it, without even looking at the value. Doubt it'll be in very good quality, but that is interesting. So we had another dry joint there. Another reason why this failed. There we are. That is a dry joint in action. That has just pulled straight out of the board without even applying any heat whatsoever. It looks like it's never even soldered in properly. And that's a 275 volt. So now we can get to the bottom of the relay, which might make getting it out a little bit easier. Wow, that was interesting. So what I'm doing now is I'm actually pulling the relay slightly towards me. And I'm going to unsolder those 3 pins first. That one, and that one. You can sort of feel it moving, beginning to move. And there we go. Did you hear that? That one's loose. Now I can go the other way. And once again, this is so badly soldered. No wonder this board blew up. Look at that. Look at that. That's the reason. One more failure. Well, that's why it blew up. So, and this is a radio spares UPS. This cost a lot of money. It cost, I think it was £150, £200, and that was 10 years ago. It had 3 new batteries in it. I know that since new. So what that does show is that all I had to do, instead of buying a new UPS, which I probably could have done, which actually only cost me about £70, I could have just run around with a solderer, but never mind. Right, we've got this out a little bit, so now I can get my flat-bladed screwdriver, go under there, providing a little bit of leverage. Once again, apply some heat, and look at that, out it popped. So they recovered really quite well. I hope you can see, is a relay. Taking some of the extra solder off, which is, blimey, 6 volt DC, switching 240 volts. Interesting. First item recovered. Next relay to be recovered is this one. You can see the connections are that one, that one, and that one. And now we're going to push it the other way. This is how I've always done removing components, and I've been doing this for 50 years. So once again, we have got a board that is just falling apart. This is really interesting. It does show why the thing fell apart. My solder tip needs cleaning. By the way, I'll show you this while I'm at it. Way of cleaning solder tips. It's actually swarf from an engineering company, I suppose. It's brass swarf. But I've cleaned the tips very well. Just do that. Cleans the tips very well indeed. So now I haven't applied any extra solder to this one, this relay. So let's just do that. We'll apply a little, but it's so dry jointed, this. Wow. This is very, very, very badly connected. Wow, look at the dry joints on this. My word. So what you try and do is, really, while the connection is still slightly tacky, you try and apply. I'm applying quite a bit of pressure. It doesn't really matter. They don't break very often. Now I'm pushing the other way. And while it's still wet, we will try and remove this relay. This one seems more reluctant to come off than the last one. We'll try a little bit of that. Let's try some desolder braid. As you can see, I don't profess to be a That's better. That's certainly got some solder off there, and some more. Look at that, that's really flowing now. And there's some more. And then we'll come over this one. And there's some more. And there's some more. Hopefully that one, I don't know if this will come off or not. I don't know if it'll come off, it might not. Sometimes you have to give up. Ah, you see, you heard that click. So that's one half of that off. And now we can just go to the other side. In fact, you can see the leads moving. Then we come to this side and we go to that one. Make sure we're putting the right, unsoldering the right thing. We are. And that. Trouble is doing it so you can see it as well. Which does make life slightly more difficult. I reckon this might just pull out there. There we go. Literally all that took was that. That one's off. And yes, I've broken one of the leads off. It can be resoldered. So we've got 5 out of 6 leads. It's not the end of the world. We still recovered a relay, which will be a decent quality one. And the relays, of course, on the UPS aren't used very often because they only go off when the power goes off. These have got massive contacts. You can see there's massive contacts on this relay. So 10 amps at 240 volts. I'm not surprised. Finally, this relay, which is the last relay. The relays are what I really wanted from this. I like relays. I very much like relays. Trying to see where we are. Let's get it right. Make sure we're unsoldering the right thing. So these will be the coil. And there's one. The solder's coming off. There's 2, and then these will be the actual switched contacts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Will that come off? I don't know. Let's have a go. Let's see if we're 3 for 3. With knowing my luck, we won't be. It goes very hard, this one. It goes very well. By the way, if you're hearing clicking in the background, I've got a very old small form factor computer. It's been running for 15 years and it uploads a webcam image every 30 seconds. And as I say, it's been running for 15 years. Still works, so why change it? I won't tell you which operating system it's running, but a hacker would have a heck of a time with it. Fortunately, it doesn't. It only uploads my FTP. I'm still on. I'm still in shot. It's not willing to move this one. It really does feel solid. We might come back to this one. So what else is of value on this board? I tend to find the transistors, unless they're a special type, a complete waste of time. Obviously 10-year-old capacitors aren't worth a light. You can get the coils off if you want to. They've got some they've got some things in there. They've got some copper in them. But it was the relays that I was trying to get hold of 4-wave rectifier there, once again not of any value really. But I wouldn't mind getting these off, just out of interest to see what value they are. Let's try getting these great big capacitors off. There's one there. And also, as they've only got 2 pins, it makes life bloody sight easier. Now what I haven't done? I haven't resoldered the solder. So frankly, that does show you why these are not coming loose. That's better. That's better. Let's put the temperature of the soldering iron up a bit. No. 50. What you don't want to do when you're desoldering is have the soldering iron, look at that, simple as that, when you put some extra solder on. Have the soldering iron slip, because if it slips and digs into your finger, it can half hurt. It takes ages to cure, and the smell of burning is terrible. There we are, one capacitor off, and there's another large capacitor I saw. Here we go, which I thought would be of value. Now this one I will just put a little bit of solder on, get it going. Think about moving. There's one. There's the other one. Let's try and get this off. This is a large capacitor, but coming off very easily indeed. One there. And one there. That's actually off. Look at that. We've actually got, this has got electricity glued to it. Cool, that's a big one. Nearly said a rude word then. A big B, 275 volts. Don't know what value that is. I'll put on my capacitor tester in a minute. So we've got the capacitors off. We've got 2 of the 3 relays off. Let me just try and get this last relay, and then I think you've all had enough, and I've had enough as well. And YouTube have probably had enough running videos which aren't really very interesting, but some people like watching this sort of rubbish. And if you like watching it, I do. I like watching this sort of thing. I like it when people go wrong. I like it when people... I love it when people go wrong. Makes me feel far better. I think to myself, I'm not the only twit in the world. It's not coming off, that one. I wonder why. I wonder why this relay does not want to come off. It does not want to come off at all, at all, at all. 1, 2, 3, there it is. I'm not soldering the right things. 1, 2, 3, there it is. There. Definitely. Another dry joint, which is interesting. It shows why this failed. Pushing down quite hard in the hope of getting this to come loose. It is actually, it has come loose. I think there's now room to get a screwdriver under there. Yes, there is. So my method does work after a fashion. So now I've got a bit of leverage. I can actually put some heat. And save this darn thing. Why aren't you darn well moving? Because there are the 6 pins. Oh well. At least doing this on video stops me swearing. I'll tell you, by now I would normally be. My wife banging on the door telling me to stop swearing because the neighbours will hear me. Ah, there we go. That was, you heard that. So once again, we've got dry joints aplenty. Look at this. Look at this completely. One, 2, 3. That should be it. Unless this is a course, this might be, I'm an idiot, and this is a 2-pole. Could be that that's why it's not coming off. Could be I'm a total plonker. And this is a... And that is why it is, because it's a... What an idiot! Oh well, that's why it wasn't coming off. I didn't realise it got an extra set of contacts on this relay. So we call this Junking for Joy. That's a good title, this video, Junking for Joy. There we go. There we go. It's one. Let's try and get this off now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Something is holding this in place. This solder, actually, this iron does not seem as hot as it used to be. No, we're alright, we're tinned up. There we go. And all the connections are still there. And that's why that's why I didn't do it properly the first time, because you've actually got an extra set of contacts on here. This is obviously a double pole changeover rather than a single pole changeover, which is what the others were. Well, there you go. That's how to start removing components from a circuit board. I didn't do it very well. I didn't say I was perfect, but might give you an idea. Instead of throwing everything out, especially if you have something from a computer, just have a look and see if there are a few components which might be a bit of help or interest. What we could do before we finish is just get my test meter over and just see if we can get these relays to work. Actually, and usually, yes I have. Let's just try putting 3 volts across it. Because sometimes a 6-volt relay, well, a 6-volt relay will usually work on 3 volts. So let's just try this. Sorry. Yep, that one's working. That must be a higher voltage one. And that's the one I broke the wire off, so I'm going to have to sort that out later on. So we got 2 good relays out of it. And as I say, one of them is a double pole changeover. So that's single pole, make, double pole changeover, and another double pole make. Not too bad. 3 capacitors of very substantial size. Let's just see what values they've got on them. Get my old capacitor tester out. Let's see what we got here. Any volts in this? Yes. Cool, look at that. You've got volts on your test meter. Amazing stuff. I tell you now, that's blimey, that's not too bad, you know. That's after 10 years. That is reading 1 microfarad, and that, believe it or not, is 1 microfarad, 400 volts. So we'll have some use. Let's see what this is. That's 0.47. So that's obviously no good at all. Let's see what this is. That's 0.22. Again. Oh well, some you win and some you lose. I think we've lost. But anyway, we've got the relays out. Another video again soon, if you can bear to watch it. Thanks for watching. Bye.